let me invite Silvana to also provide some opening remarks with regard to the proposition. What is happening in the open data space? Should we be hopeful, or should we be indeed be worried as well? Over to you, Silvana.
First of all, thank you, Stefan. I wish I have really good news. Let's see how it goes. But first of all, I'd like to say something that I said to you the other day. I wish I could be so poetic in, finding ways to express the state of data as Stefan is. I'm not, so bear with me. I'm going to try to share some insights with you about the GDP and about some of the things that we experienced throughout these many years in the field. So basically, what I'd like to say after saying, like, I'm really grateful for the invitation to the GovLab and Stefan in particular for the opportunity to share some insights today. And winter or new way, what we know for real is that we need data and open data these days, and it's very important to think about what's the state of data around the world. And let me start by saying that about 15 years ago, the open data movement started with a simple yet powerful belief. We were saying that if we made government data open, people would naturally come, use it, and generate both social and individual value. However, our experience over the past few years have shown that reality is much more complex than that. The initial open and there will come approach has evolved to include a broader and deeper set of considerations. For example, our discussions today include a range of interconnected issues, let's say from privacy and data protection that are paramount, ensuring that data is handled and cared with respect for individuals' privacy. Human rights in technology are critical as well, focusing on protecting human rights in the development and deployment of technological solutions. And of course, data governance is essential, establishing robust structures to manage data efficiently, ensuring quality and inclusion among other assets. The complexity added to the initial open data agenda about this issue is significant, and our work is now more interconnected with various not only agendas, but groups that we might not have considered or engaged with in the past. This complexity, however, enhances the significance and impact of our efforts. Moreover, as advances in AI continue, as Stefan mentioned already in his introduction, the relationship between data and AI governance becomes increasingly important as well. Data is the foundation for developing AI technologies. As Stefan may mention, the bedrock of ethical AI governance. And ethical AI governance relies on solid data governance practices. Furthermore, promoting diversity and inclusion in data production and algorithms ensures that AI systems are fair and representative. And this is an evolving landscape. This evolving landscape calls for new ways to assess our progress and the effectiveness of our work. And this is where the Global Data Barometer, or the GDB as we call it, comes in. It was initially developed in 2020, and it provides a comprehensive evaluation of the data ecosystems, addressing the different phases, the different challenges and opportunities that we are facing today. The GDB assesses essential data foundation crucial for developing robust and inclusive data ecosystems worldwide. And in today's era where data-driven insights and AI are key, understanding the effectiveness of government data management has never been more crucial. The GDB draws on primary data from a global expert survey combined with secondary data coming from different trusted sources to generate a range of metrics. And just to give you an update, we are currently working on the second edition, and we expect the updates on the results early next year. But despite that GDB assesses data in a broader sense, beyond open data and through different thematic lenses, we need to say that open government data remains a key component of our measurements. And some of the lessons that we learned with the results of the first edition that I could share with you could be, for example, as in the same line that Stefan was mentioning, the GDB is telling us that open data agendas are no longer progressing linearly. The rate of increase has slowed compared to a few years ago. in spite of this, developing and using data for the public good is indeed possible. I mean, the norms established by the Barometer are theoretically attainable today. Yet, if you look at the scores, they reveal that there is still a considerable distance to cover. I mean, the distance between the scoring on different countries nowadays from the possibility to attain what we put as an ideal situation is still really far. Also, something that I think is really important is that capacity gaps in skills, training, and infrastructure remain significant barriers to extracting value from data. While the digital divide may be narrowing in some areas and in some places, gaps still persist across government, private sector, and civil society, hindering their ability to create and use data effectively for the public good. And as we witness rapid advances in AI, as we already mentioned several times in the past few minutes, the importance of robust data capabilities becomes even more critical. AI systems rely heavily on vast amounts of high-quality data to function effectively. And without the right skills, training, and infrastructure, organizations and community are unable to harness the full potential of their data, missing out on opportunities to drive innovation, improve decision-making, and enhance service delivery. Moreover, this lack of capacity not only hinders progress, but also exacerbates existing inequalities. For instance, in countries or sectors where data capabilities are underdeveloped, the data of these communities is often extracted and used by more advanced entities as well. These extractions can lead to a situation where those with fewer resources and capabilities do not benefit from the value that data could generate, effectively bringing an inequality or leaving them behind in the data revolution. Adding to that, a report published at the end of 2023, the role of government as a provider of data for artificial intelligence by the Global Partnership of Artificial Intelligence, where I had the pleasure to collaborate. It addresses the role of open data initiatives as one of the data sharing models that we currently have. In that sense, it mentions that government open data portals remain a critical venue through which to fairly and transparently share government health data for AI development. However, it also says that we need to be to ensure that this platform, the open data platform, and the different avenues to share open data needs to be populated, updated, used, and accessible for more people to be able to access the data that is hosted there. On a more positive note, there is a positive note, and thinking about the different stakeholders that can add to the agenda, we can say that well-drafted frameworks deliver better data. According to the GDP results, when the rules governing data collection, management, and sharing are explicit and clear, the data is more likely to be available, useful, and sustainable. This in turn helps address numerous issues for the public good. Adding to that, we also need to have more data sharing models and clear agreements to balance the power between data controllers, processors, and data subjects. For example, the data commons that Stefan already mentioned before. And we also need further research on them to better understand the risk and opportunities and ensure they are responsibly regulated. Lastly, there is a clear evidence that partnership, collaborations, and the advocacy work of international organizations are providing positive results. These efforts are significantly advancing the data agenda on various important topics, showing the power of collective action in driving progress. Nowadays, we not only need to collaborate with the stakeholders in the data ecosystem, from NSOs to chief data officers, from SEOs to data journalists, but also with those in charge of regulating, implementing, and developing AI-related tools. We need that to address some of the challenges that were mentioned today previously, and probably that are going to be mentioned in the following conversations. For all these topics, we are at the GDB currently reviewing our methodology to improve how we measure the state of data and the cross-cutting themes such as openness, inclusion, and AI that we need to understand today. We aim to gather data to help us address these important conversations. But in the meantime, we need to keep these discussions about the bridges that we need to be built to connect data and AI in the public discourse. And we need to keep working on better data governance for better AI governance. In that sense, and I think I am taking quite some time, I want to invite everybody to explore our website, that is globaldatabarometer.org, and to check all the results from the first edition there while we wait for the second editions to be here. And I look forward to the conversations that are happening this morning, and they're going to be happening in future discussions around these critical topics, and the partnerships especially that we can build to keep working on high quality open data for sustainable development for all. So once again, I want to finish here saying thank you, Stefan, thank you, the GovLab, and looking forward to the conversations that are coming during the morning.
Great. Thanks so much, Silvana, for setting the stage, and also for really providing this level of evidence to the table, meaning I've always been arguing that we need more data about data, and I think the Global Data Barometer really provides that kind of benchmark that we all need in order to really be able to understand whether we are going in the right direction, whether we are there yet, question mark, and it seems from your remarks, Silvana, that we still have a long way to go, and that we actually, anyway, not going to get there if we don't, if we are, anyway, having the same speed as we currently are witnessing with regard to actually making data accessible, available, and also, of course, within the context of AI, more responsible as well. So thanks so much, Silvana. Let's now have a few people react to your statements and also react to the common kind of premise, whether we are, anyway, in the worst of times or best of times as it relates to open data. And let us kick us off with our first panel, which is the private sector panel. But before I introduce our distinguished panelists today, I do want to also mention, which of course I forgot at the beginning, that we hope that this also will be an interactive engagement. And so feel free to pose your questions using the Q&A function in Zoom. I think many, and if not all of you, are now pretty well familiar with Zoom and how the Q&A works. So please add your question to the Q&A so that I can make sure that that I can address that. And there is already a question for you, Silvana, if you still have time to answer, is whether and when the next Global Data Barometer will be published. No pressure, Silvana.
Yeah, that's a difficult question. I mean,
another massive exercise.
We are currently working a lot, to be honest, and that's the reason that I mentioned that we are working on different aspects and different approach, and in trying to improve the methodology that we already implemented in the first edition. And we are looking forward to have results of the second edition around May 2025. So that's the timeline we're looking for. We are doing all we can to get there. So hopefully in the next Open Data Summit, we have the results of the second edition and we can share with you all what's the state of data in 2024-25.
Okay, well, that's a deal, Silvana. So mark your
I'll do my best.
Mark your agenda for the next Open Data, State of Open Data Policy Summit that we will hear back from Silvana on which direction are we going. And so thanks again, Silvana, for being with us and for all your leadership in this space as well.